Oh, just a second.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the FPL Banger Show. My name is Siva. I'm joined by Sam for the Game Week 5 preview. And Sam, how has the international break been? Have you enjoyed watching England's excellent performances against Ukraine and Scotland?
I honestly I don't watch many international matches. I did see Harry Maguire's highlights though from the Ukraine game.
Big mistake
Um,
from Aaron Ramsdale, I have to say. I think I must put up my hands as an Arsenal fan. You can't just leave Harry Maguire unmarked in the box like that.
yeah, time to drop him for David Raya.
Yeah, very very poor. I thought something really interesting though. Did you see what happened to Richarlison? He really had like, I mean, you could not have wished for a worse break for him because he went off. He got subbed off in the first game. He went off in tears, which is just really sad because he must be under a lot of pressure. Second
Yeah,
game, he scores a goal, and you think finally, okay, all the pressure's off, it's lifted, and then he's offside again,
at
and
least
he's subbed
he
off.
he didn't take off his shirt too and got yellow carded for that this time.
Oh my god, man! I mean, Mikel Antonio's living rent free in his head now. I really feel
Oh.
bad for this guy. And
It's weird though because I kind of rate Richarlison before he moved to Spurs. So
we
I don't
all
know
did.
what is it, right? What is it? Is it just confidence and stuff? Anyway, I saw he posted something about he's gonna get some psychological help um before the game week starts, before this weekend and things like that. So hope it all goes well for him.
Yeah, but on that note, right? And so as you can see on screen right now, we're looking at the Burnley Spurs result from 2 weeks ago. Seems like a long time ago, but that was Son starting up top, scoring a hat trick, and the most popular transfer in this week is Son at home to Sheffield United. So easy question, Sam: are you getting Son? And if not, why?
I mean, it really sucks when this kind of things happen. Sun feels like he should be a differential. Like, no one has Sun, right? But everyone seems to be getting him in the exact same week. So I don't know. I don't think he'll still be a differential, at least not within the top players, I guess. Everyone wants to get in Sun.
I think it'll be pretty difficult for a lot of people to get inside. Like I would have to sell like a really good player to do it for free, like Saka or somebody. I think a lot of people, the way they're set up, unfortunately, haven't left a lot of funds in the bank. So you're looking at maybe selling somebody like a Rashford or Bruno to get to Sun. And is this too short term of view, right? Because okay, they play Sheffield United this week. Then they play Arsenal and Liverpool in the next 2 weeks. And is Sun going to play number 9 again, or was it just a one off? Is Sheffield United a worse fixture compared to Burnley? Because Burnley high line, Sheffield United play really low. I mean, all these things. Are we overthinking it? Is it just he's playing for one of the best teams in the league right now? He has no European fixtures to worry about. Just get him in.
Yeah, I think like you said, one of the best attacking teams in the league right now. So despite the tough fixtures coming up, I still think Spurs can score. And if they score, well, Richarlison is not doing it, so therefore someone else has to score. Sun also traditionally does really well against promoted clubs. Really, really well. I mean, historically, I guess, and tend to do pretty well against big teams either. It's the middle teams that he seems to struggle against. But yeah, flat track bully. Sun is a flat track bully. I am getting in Sun this week if I can sort out my defense, because my defense is in shambles right now. If I had a transfer to spare, I would make that Sun move. I think it's a good move. Good fixture coming up. And then, like I said earlier, he can score against the big teams too. I think don't overthink it so much, right? It's a talisman of, no, I wouldn't say talisman. James Madison is the talisman of that Spurs
Mm.
team, right? I'm really happy I have Madison. But yeah, main goal threat, I guess, of the Spurs, of a very attacking team. Pricey though, like you said, not many people have the funds. I maybe would sell Rashford for Sun.
Interesting. Okay. So you'd sell Rashford ahead of, okay, they play Brighton this week, but then after that it's Burnley, the same team that lost 5-2 to Spurs, and then they play Palace.
Have you seen United?
I did. I did. So, we didn't talk about it, but let's talk about it here, right? So United Arsenal was a really interesting game. I mean, United would have stolen a victory. They were minutes away from doing so, but I don't think they deserved it, right? They just sort of held on, didn't have much of the ball, sort of smash and grab. But does that matter? I mean, you're playing better teams. Brighton have conceded in every game so far. They've looked very open. Then you get Burnley the following week. Like, if you reverse the fixtures, if it was United playing Burnley this week, no way are you selling Rashford, right? So maybe people are being
True.
short sighted. Maybe people like you just are bringing your negativity around United
Yeah.
when Rashford can score. Bruno got 3 assists and a goal against Luxembourg, but still, I mean, he's doing something.
Yeah, but Champions League is coming up. I really don't see how United is gonna have the squad to deal with Champions League. It is a big factor. It starts next week, and loads of the top teams play in the Champions League this year, right? I worry for Martinelli's minutes. I worry for Rashford's minutes. I think he'll come off early. Bruno, no, right? Bruno will probably play every single minute of every single game. I'm not saying Rashford won't start, but come off early to keep him fresh for the UCL game. I can see that. Rashford, not exactly has been, how do I put it? He's been plagued with injuries a bit. He's played through it. He has a well documented back injury that he played through one whole season. I don't think Ten Hag will want to go through that. Our problem is depth, though. If Rashford
Yeah,
comes off, I don't see anyone who can really replace him, but he might have no choice. So a team like Spurs with no Europe commitments, I'd jump on that.
what do you think the effect the Anthony being out has on United's attack?
It's really tough. On one hand, he could move Rashford or Garnacho to the right and play one of them. I think Garnacho is hands down the third choice winger, behind Rashford and Anthony. So without Anthony, Garnacho should play, but will Ten Hag put them on their non-natural side, or he might just play Pellistri? Sancho, I don't know if there's any way back for him. We'll have to see. I doubt it. So then that only leaves Pellistri. He may play Bruno on the right wing. He's done that before. Bruno can do that job. Then Ericsson in the AM, maybe Mount. No, Mount's still injured, right? So it has to
Yeah.
be Ericsson then. So you see, with all the injury problems and all the things that's going on in United, I would rather just stay away from the team as a whole. It
Okay.
just doesn't look good to me.
So combine fitness issues with rotation, well, not rotation risk, but I guess minutes risk, plus just general fatigue and team not looking great, vibes bad, and all that.
Yeah. Bad
That's
vibes. Very bad.
bad vibes.
X vibes.
As we know, vibes are the most important thing
Yeah.
in FPL.
And Spurs has extremely high X vibes right now, man.
Good vibes.
Mhm.
Any fears that Sun has not had a break for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or feels like forever? There was a scare briefly yesterday. You obviously don't stay on Twitter, so you're not privy to this. But for like 2 hours, people thought Sun was injured and going to retire because there was a photo of him strapped up, and then suddenly he appears and plays anyway. Um, and also, I guess concerns about his position, right? I mean, does he play number 9 every week, or do you just not care? You think he'll be a decent asset either way?
Yeah, I think he's still a good asset on the left wing, I think. Number 9 is great, left wing is great. I'm okay with having Son, despite any position he plays.
Okay. And presumably you agree that this is in addition to having Madison, right? I feel regardless of Son's hat trick, like Madison is still the best all-rounded asset in that team because he has set pieces, he has bonus potential. And I'd say better bonus potential because of all the set pieces and just also price point. I think he's kind of almost essential.
Yeah, I think Son stole all the headlines with his hat trick, but Madison has been ticking in really nicely. Only blanked in one game so far. 9 points, 3 points, 10 points, 7 points. I'm really happy I started the season with Mats. And I would recommend anyone else to jump on him. If you can't get to Son, go for Mats. Now, he won't be as explosive as Son, because I think on his day, Son is probably one of the most explosive player in the game. But he would tick along nicely. Mason's definitely like a long-term hold kind of thing.
What do you say to the idea? And I've listened to a lot of just pods, not even FPL pods, but normal Spurs pods this week. And the idea that maybe they start Richarlison back up top because this is a low block team. Sheffield United will defend deep, play three at the back. And so therefore you get somebody who's tall, can hold up play. And therefore maybe Madison's a better pick this week than Son.
Madison higher floor, Son higher ceiling, right? I think Madison will do well against any team. Against a team with a high press, he does well. He got the potential to dribble through, line breaking passes, all that kind of stuff. And against a low block, he has the creativity to unlock them. Now, if you're unlocking them, someone still has to score the goal, right?
Yeah.
So I think Son, I don't think he'll get another hat trick. I don't think he's going to get back-to-back hat tricks. But a goal, I can definitely see a goal coming in.
Yeah. And also Richarlison
yeah, sorry.
is coming
I
back
also
quite late.
think that, yeah, Richardson is coming back. But I also think, I mean, they did really well the last game. Why would he want to change that up? You know, if it works, why change it up, right? Give Richardson his break. You know, he publicly posted about his mental health, so maybe this is a good opportunity to just give him a rest, come off the bench. Plus, I think Maynard Solomon did a great job in the left wing.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Maynard Solomon, by the way. I thought he did really well even last year in Fulham.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see he move to Spurs and glad to see that he got a shot. So, I mean, a shot. He got a chance to start. He took his chance and 2 assists, right? I think last week for Son.
Yeah, 2 assists. And I mean, ultimately, this low block stuff, right? I mean, Dan Juma scored last week against Sheffield United. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's not like as if you only pick target men and they will score against these kind of teams. Son will get cutbacks. He'll get opportunities in the box. It's just whether he takes them. And he scored against Sheffield United before. This isn't foreign to him. So I think if you're going for Son, you look at it long term. He's got good fixtures. Game week 8, he's got Luton. Can't really go that badly, I think.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but he has scored something like 30 goals in his last 30 matches against newly promoted sides or something like that.
Sounds very legit. Okay.
But yeah. Son against newly promoted teams. Go for it. Captain him, maybe.
Ooh, okay. We'll talk about captaincy. So bottom line is you're okay selling basically anybody to get Son. I think we've established that.
I'm okay selling United players. I'm okay selling
Arsenal players?
Martinelli. I'll keep Saka because I think Saka will still play. But Martinelli though, he is an existing minutes risk even before the Champions League. I'm excited for his prospects now that Jesus is back, right? Who links up much better with Martinelli. However, Champions League coming up. Martinelli already a 60-minute player, even without Champions League. Now with it, I could see some rest in the Premier League for Champions League. I don't know how they'll play it. I mean, Arsenal hasn't been in the Champions League for some time, so I
7 years, mate. It's been painful.
yeah.
I don't think Martinelli gets rested, but I think early subs. I think that was already a risk and remains the issue. Still really good. Like I went and saw Arsenal live, right, 2 weeks ago against Fulham. And Martinelli and Saka are the only reason this team is still competing for anything at the moment. Every other facet of the attack, okay, Jesus coming back is much needed, but every other facet is all just not working. It's not clicking. Like we beat United more out of sheer force of will. Like we had the ball like 80%, 70% possession, but we weren't doing anything with it. So I think Martinelli keeps getting minutes. He still gets 70, 80 minutes, but like
60
you say,
maybe. Yeah.
If it's not going well, yeah. So if you're not scoring, then he's more liable to come off than Saka for sure, and no pens. So yeah, reluctant sell, I think, ahead of Everton. I don't rate this Everton defense, but yeah, I guess you could if you look at it long term. And Son's at home.
Long term, definitely long term.
Okay. I mean the other Spurs asset, you got to have Destiny Udogie, right? Like everybody has to have him now.
Yeah, so that's my thing. My defense is in shambles. I may need to make a defensive transfers, and if I were to do it, he will be my first pick.
I can't relate, Sam, because I wildcarded last week and got 89 points. Just just putting it out
Lucky
there. So
you, Siva.
no, not luck. Okay, I
Okay,
mean
not
you
luck,
told
skills, all
pe-
skill, right?
people, including you, told me not to wildcard. I did not listen to you, and see, sometimes you just gotta go with your gut, mate.
Yeah, it worked out really well, Siva. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. Okay, but let me tell you the reason why I may not get Sun this week. It's because I may have to use my trans. Well, not have to. I have, but I want to use my transfer somewhere else. And can you guess who that is for?
Big Taiwo, right?
Big Taiwo, mate. So Forest beat Chelsea 1-0, as you can see on the screen. Taiwo Awoniyi assisted. It's now 9 goals and 1 assist in his last 8 games. Looked immense. They play Burnley next. The Burnley that just lost 5-2 to Spurs. The Burnley that's conceded 11 goals in 3 games. Is Big Taiwo not the easiest replacement for Nicolas Jackson?
Do you need to replace Nicolas Jackson though?
I need to replace Nicolas Jackson, mate.
If only you
I
listened to me and not got him in the first place, you won't need to replace him.
Yeah, but sometimes you make mistakes, and the most important thing in life is about growing and learning from them. I've watched 90 minutes of this man in my team, and I'm okay not having him. Like this, I don't get this Chelsea team. Like they create chances, they create lots of chances. They have the ball for so much of it. But something about Nicolas Jackson, man, I don't know. Maybe this that Chelsea curse is just not that number 9 curse. It's just too heavy, man. He can't take it. And I don't want to be
He's,
around for this.
yeah, he's just too young, I feel. He should not be relied as the main man when he just, came into a league thrown in after half a season of senior football, basically, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not here to debate Chelsea's transfer strategies.
No,
Here to
I mean
debate.
we could be here all night, mate. Okay, they tried to sign Taiwo only like in the last 48 hours of before the
Really?
deadline.
Ah,
Yes, that came out
I
this
would
week.
think Chelsea tried to sign pretty much anyone and everyone they could.
Yeah, they probably just went online, go Premier League website, sort by goals. Ah, okay, let's get this guy. Like,
Okay, Big Taiwo, yeah, I like it. I like it. You may have a problem in game week 5 when he's away against City. However, Big Taiwo, he hasn't blanked
I've
for like 9 games, probably
got a
10 games
full
by then.
playing squad, mate.
Yeah.
I
I think that's the
that's
thing that we said a lot about like bad fixtures and stuff. If you don't like them, you probably have a strong bench because all of us have so much money because Haaland's the only premium we have in our entire team. So
Yeah, I mean, so for those who are wildcarding this week, we talk about wildcards later, but just in general, like I wildcarded last week into a full playing structure, which is I'm already having some regrets because I didn't leave enough cash for Sun. But on the other hand, I had Bowen last week. I can bench him this week.
mhm.
I am planning to have Taiwo this week at home to Burnley. Burnley in a lot of issues, and I think the Sun haul, as good as Spurs were, we didn't really talk about how bad Burnley are, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody else is going to talk about Burnley. So let's try and do it because I did spend some time listening to some Burnley podcasts, just trying to understand what's going wrong.
Mm.
So they've changed the keeper. They're starting this guy called James Trafford, who they bought from
Mhm.
City. He's
Very
England
good.
under 21.
Yeah. He's a really good keeper for the future, not necessarily now, but yeah.
Yes. So a lot of fans want him dropped because their second keeper is a guy called Ayo Muric, who is the Kosovo international who used to play for Man City, started the
Mhm.
whole of last season. They've dropped him for this Trafford guy, and Trafford's looked very shaky in the first few weeks. Under 21, and if you remember Bazunu last year with Southampton, this sort of thing
Yeah.
about you're bringing a keeper up from League One, very young, very inexperienced. It doesn't always help the defense, so that's one issue. Connor Roberts at right back, okay, that's fine. Then in centre back, they lost Taylor Harwood-Bellis, also on loan from City last season. He's gone. They've replaced him with Dara O'Shea, a centre back from West Brom, who's looked a bit iffy. And then at left back, so if you remember preseason, there's this guy called Ian Martson who plays for Chelsea and
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good. So he spent the whole of last season on loan at Burnley and was their starting left back. He didn't come back this season, and they haven't replaced him. They have tried 3 different left backs in the first 3 games of the season, and all of the 3 guys they tried are not left backs. So they played center backs, they're midfielders. They're trying anything that just see what sticks, and nothing has worked so far. So you look at all that, and they couldn't sign Martin in the end. So they have Charlie Taylor, but they don't play him. Company doesn't trust him. Then in mid, I don't know, it's a lot of issues. In midfield, they're not starting Josh Brownhill. They're trying to start Sanderberger, who they bought from Sheffield United, but he's not really a defensive mid. So they're
Yeah.
leaking
Good
goals
player
through
though.
that.
I have to say he's a good player, but yeah,
Good,
not
good
a
player, but not like a proper DM. So
yeah.
long story short, they have a lot of issues, and Burnley fans seem very frustrated about it. They've lost 3 games in a row, all at home, and conceded 11 goals.
And I
So
have to say, right, playing a high line like what they did against Spurs, that's just suicidal, right?
very naive.
Yeah, I think when you're a championship club and you dominate the championship, yeah, so you are the Man City of the championship. You're dominating everyone. You play the high line, you play a possession-based system, and you do well. But when you come to the Premier League, you can't expect to play the same thing against better opposition. You get wrecked, like what like what has been happening the past few games. Got to be a bit more pragmatic, right, when you go up.
Yeah, but that's the good thing, right? Because Company is quite stubborn, and this is something dating back even to his time in Anderlecht. He was known as this kind of manager who doesn't compromise, and that's why the first stint didn't go so well. He did a lot better at Burnley. But looking at these fixtures, all indications are they're going to continue playing the same way they are and just trust the process. And so while they keep doing that, I feel like there are some hauls to be had here. And then
Mm.
you come to Taiwo Awoniyi, who's got great form. It's a home fixture for Forest. We know they're good. He's come back from the international break. He's looked good. And I don't think a lot of people will go for this move this week because they don't want to deal with him next week against City, whereas I can bench him. So I think for those of us who have strong benches, this is a really good opportunity to try and get a differential haul.
I like it. I like. I think Forest has been quite underrated this first few games. They've been doing decently, and not as bad as last year. Like last year, their away and home form was a world of difference. They did really well at home, really terribly away. But this year, they've been doing solid, I feel. They got an away win against Chelsea, so you have to be doing something good.
Yeah, and I mean they've played really tough teams. They played Arsenal, United, and Chelsea,
Mhm.
and they're not falling apart. So you have to feel
And
logically
I think Big Taiwo actually has a lot to do with it because he was injured almost the whole of last season. I think injured at
big
the
chunks.
start and then yeah. So yeah, I like it. Go for it, Siva. I love differentials like this.
Yeah, and
Makes
I
me
really
feel
like.
alive.
I mean, last word of Forest. I really like some of the signings they made this season. So they've got Sangare from PSV. Anybody who plays FM, and you know Sangare,
I
right?
know,
He's
I know Ibrahim Sakari. Yeah.
Yaya Toure regen kind of guy. And they've got Aurier looks really good on the left flank. They got Nuno Tavares now. I mean, it
Mhm.
all just seems to be coming together. Like it feels like
They
there's a
got new
process here.
keeper. You're not mentioning that, Siva. Hmm.
Okay, let me try. Odysseus Vlachodimos, I think
Wow.
is
I think
that's
I don't know.
no one's gonna tell us if we're wrong. But yeah, Matt Turner may not be starting,
Hmm.
which is a
So
tough
all
one for
of
Matt
you who
Turner.
tried the whole I must start with Matt Turner and making my starting keeper thing, I don't know how long it'll last. I don't think he's going to start immediately, right? He just came from Benfica.
But see,
But he is Benfica's first choice keeper, so he should be starting in a team like Forest.
he's played in the UCL for Benfica, so you'd assume he
Hmm.
should be starting soon. But the bigger issue for Matt Turner owners is Mrs. Turner is pregnant and is
Ah.
expecting this week. So he's flown back to be with her. Now, I feel like, Monday night Burnley is more important than your second child arriving, but I don't think Matt Turner feels the same way. So,
Yeah. Plus, I think keeper integrations are easier compared to outfield players. Like
yeah, Keylor
outfield players, you're like,
Navas.
"Oh, yeah, I got to make them. Oh, do they still have the Killer Navas?
No, but I mean, that's how he came in last season, just straight in,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah, yeah. Keepers, you can just chuck them in because their job is just, don't let any goals in, save the ball. There's not many tactical instructions, maybe a bit on passing and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway, Forest looks good. I like it, Siva. I like
okay,
it a lot.
so okay, enough of Awani prop. Let's talk about the issues that really affecting people. Not you, Sam, because you're smart. You don't have Chelsea, I guess. But for the rest of us who
I
own
do have
Chilwell,
Chilwell and Gusto. So yeah, slight
okay.
problem there.
Okay, Gusto not so bad because he's cheap, right? So 4 mil, you
Mhm.
don't get too worried. And Reece James is back, but will be injured soon enough, so no worries.
Yeah, just
But
leave Gusto on my bench until James is injured again.
it'll be a very quick reoccurrence. But let's talk Chilwell, Sterling, Jackson. What do you do with these guys?
I keep Chilwell still because his ceiling is so high. The attacking potential is there, and in the event that Chelsea keeps a clean sheet, he should do well.
There's a lot of hypotheticals, Sam. If
A
Chilwell
lot of
does
hype.
well, if he plays, if he's on the pitch, if they seem to be subbing him off at 60 minutes like every week now, like the fan
Yeah,
base
that's
is
all right
hating on
because if
him.
they, if they concede late on, which they probably will, you want that at least up, lock in that clean sheet early. But I'm okay with Chilwell because he's a good player. He's still a good player and still putting up the underlying stats for Chelsea, and I'm okay with Chilwell, but he's probably the only Chelsea player I want in my entire team.
I thought Sterling actually looks pretty good. It's just that he has to pass to Nicolas Jackson, who can't seem to
Mhm.
finish. Um, that I don't know. I mean, I'm already worried. Like maybe the Luton game was just a red herring, and it's time to get off. But
It's Luton,
the fixtures are
right?
still
So
really good. To be fair, like after this weekend, they play Bournemouth, Villa, then they get Forest, Burnley. I don't know. Do you hold? Do you wait? Is it not an emergency? Do you only move if you've got luxury transfers?
I would hold, I think, unless luxury transfer, like in the position you are in. But most people should have other fires in their team that they need to sort out. And Chelsea, with the fixtures they have, you can hold them, I think.
Okay. Trust in Poch to figure this out.
If he, yeah, if he can, I guess.
Okay. I do think they look a lot better with Cole Palmer in the team. Like I thought he
Mhm.
looked pretty decent. So maybe there's something there. But I fear for Nicolas Jackson because as much as we like the fact, well, stat people like the fact he's getting a lot of XG and big chances. That doesn't always translate to the manager keeping you in. Like I don't think managers. I mean,
Really
XG is
understand.
important. It's important, but I've seen this like with Josh King. I think is a classic example I think about. He was getting amazing XG figures, but Ranieri still dropped him at Watford. And I always think like, yeah, some days just like we may love XG, but the manager may just feel like you're not converting. I'm going to take you out.
Mhm.
So
We are making all these chances for you, but you are not scoring them. Maybe I should play someone who can actually score the chances that the team is creating.
yeah, it could happen. I'm not saying it will happen, but that's the kind of thing that could happen. So I can see Poch down the line pulling this guy out of the firing line if he's still under a lot of pressure, not converting.
Yep, yep. I can see it too. So I don't think it'll happen this week, maybe. But actually, you never know, right? You really never know. After international breaks, managers tend to do all like international breaks is when they work on these kind of things.
And none of these guys have been around. Sterling's been away, Jackson's been away, Chilwell's been away. It's actually one of the reasons why I'm quite keen to target the Burnley fixtures because all those guys I mentioned, almost all of them are playing international football this week.
Mm,
So managers are not really going to get the chance to work on any of the problems that they had even before the break. So a lot of it, I don't think changes. Like the problems that were there before the break will still be there because you would have left the day of or like one day after the last match and you're coming back maybe 2 or 3 days before the next one. How much can you really do?
true, true, true. Fair
Okay.
point.
Okay. So I think we're sort of not an urgent sell, but consider it. Initially, I thought about talking about Liverpool v Villa. Maybe it's less important now, but then again, Salah has stayed, which is the big news out of the transfer window. He
Mhm.
didn't go. So, I mean, as a former Salah owner, Sam, are you now feeling a little more regretful that you didn't keep?
Mm, the reason why I got rid of Salah from my team was because I just felt he's not worth the price. Now, maybe that's really harsh on him because he hasn't blanked, right? He has returned every single game week this year. I mean this season. But a lot of it are pens. One of it is pens. One of it was a rebound from a pen. Two of it were assists. And before this Villa game, I felt that Salah was kind of moving more towards a creator role, if that makes sense. Like his XA numbers were really good,
Mm.
XG numbers not that good. And that's just on the stats. Even from the eye test, yes, occasionally he gets in the box, he manages to get a shot off, but it seems like most of it he's creating. Which I don't want to pay 12.5 mil for someone who's getting assists here and there. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, so I got rid of him. And then the Villa game happened where he seemed to, get in the box more and stuff like that. It's really hard to tell. I'm okay with my decision selling, but I think I would have been okay keeping as well. It's one of those 50-50 kind of things. There's no wrong move, I guess.
If you're wildcarding this week, do you have Salah?
No, because I'll just spread the money elsewhere, I think. I don't think Salah is essential this season anymore. But I wouldn't, like, if someone tells me, anyone who asks us for advice, say I want to get Salah, I wouldn't say no, don't get him.
Yeah, he's never a truly bad option. But I look, because a lot of people say he's essential from game week 9, and that's why a lot of people are holding off on the wild card because they want to get him in, say, after game week 8, and they've got a decent run from like 9 to 12, but it doesn't scream like he's 12.5 million good. Like, he's good, but you're not almost never going to captain him during that run anyway, because Haaland has similar comparable fixtures on most weeks, and the weeks he doesn't have it, you could captain a Rashford or a Saka or somebody. And yeah, I'm just not feeling it yet. Maybe I will see it further down the line, but I'm not scared yet of Salah. I feel like you've got a lot of guys who can match him at a lot less.
Yeah. Salah's a safe pick though. I feel like Salah is like a blue chip FPL asset, if there's such a thing, Like
Investing.
he will guarantee you the points at the end of the season. He will end up on, I don't know, 200 plus points. I mean, he has for the past 4 or 5 seasons, right?
He's like the IBM of FPL or something that you just like
Yeah,
buy
so
and
like
then hold.
the S&P 500. Like, you will do well having Salah. It's just that, if you chase sexier players and, sexier options, you may outperform in the short term, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. We'll see. I'd like to see how this Villa fixture pattern sort of repeats itself, or whether it's a false dawn kind of thing. Liverpool really good, but
Yeah, Liverpool really good, but I think Villa was also extremely naive by playing a very high line against Liverpool. Like, why? Why would you
yeah,
do that against a team like Liverpool? Emery, what are you thinking, man?
yeah. I mean, this is why he couldn't last at Arsenal, mate. But
Yeah, this
uh,
this Arsenal era Emery shit.
well, yeah, I'd be curious to see how they get on against Wolves. But speaking of Wolves, right? So that's the early kickoff this week, and Darwin was very hyped, I think, after the game against Villa. Less so now because there's rumors of a knock. But let's assume,
I
because I
thought I
think,
read that Bielsa said it's more fitness that Nunes just couldn't run anymore because
yeah, and
Bielsa.
it's Bielsa standards of running. So
Mhm.
maybe, human being, he can still run. Klopp, he can still run, just not for Bielsa. But
Yeah, yeah.
Liverpool have the early kickoff. I think it's fair to assume you're going to get early team news. If Darwin is starting against Wolves, is that the punt this week?
No, I still wouldn't, because if you get Darwin or Jota, right, you'll be worrying on the team sheet every single week. Although Darwin, yes, even if he's bench, he could come on and score a hat trick or something. But yeah, it's just the headache. The same with City defenders. That's the same thing I feel like. I was really sad on Guardiola. Like, I thought, okay, he looks nailed. Not many left-footed players, but again, got benched. I don't want that headache of having to check the team news every single week, hope for leaks, and if you can't get leaks, just hope and pray that they do start.
Fair. I can't disagree. I think Darwin's still in that risk zone. Uh, yeah, he started because of the Newcastle performance, but that doesn't mean he
Mhm.
starts every week.
Like, one bad game and that's it. He's back on the bench. Jota plays up top.
Yeah, still got Gakpo. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, fair. Okay, let's talk double game week. Okay, so we had a double game week announcement earlier this week. Luton and Burnley. So game week 7, Luton play Everton away, Burnley home. Burnley play Newcastle away, Luton away. So I, just to test you, Sam, this is for people who are watching the show, have put pictures of 4 Luton and Burnley players to see if you know who they are. Okay.
I know
This
for a fact one of them is Lyle Foster.
very
No?
decent. Which one is Lyle Foster though? Okay, no man, I'll give you that. Okay, so the second one is Lyle Foster. Who's the first?
I have no idea who's Luton's keeper. So
Okay, Thomas Kaminski, 4.5 million. They signed him this season. Okay, let's number 3. I'm surprised you don't know who number 3 is here.
I feel like I don't know any other player from Luton except for Bell. Is that Bell?
No man, it's not. It's not Bell. Bell is the centre back. That's Carlton Morris. Okay, so you know who Carlton Morris is, right? So
Oh, okay.
he's there,
Yeah.
5.5 million. I like these guys are all like NPCs to you. Like they just, they don't exist in your world.
The
And
fourth guy is Amin Al-Dakli, I think. No.
nice. I mean,
That's
Al
right.
Dakil, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
Dakli. Yeah. I know because I play FM and I had him in my team.
I
I
remembered you
recognize
saying
that
that.
face.
You said that in Game Week 1, and I remembered that because when you said it to me, I didn't really take much notice because he was never playing. But Company has started playing Amin Al Dakil, who is a centre back.
Mhm.
He's been playing him at fullback, and fans
Yeah,
are really upset
I mean
about it.
in FM, you know, his secondary
Yes.
position is a fullback.
Okay, so Company plays FM. Is I think
Yeah,
what
man.
we've gathered from
Just
this.
such as his own squad on FM. Like who can play fullback? Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, when this first double game week was announced, a lot of people laughing. Who cares? I'm gonna have 0 assets from both of these teams. I feel, and then some people saying you got Carlton Morris captain above Haaland, who plays Wolves. So I feel like the truth is somewhere in the middle. There's a rational answer to all of this. What do you think, Seb? How seriously do you take this double game week? Is it factor into your transfers this week at all, or do you just not care and you'll wait until game week 7 and then maybe just buy one guy?
I don't care at all. I don't see many points for Luton or Burnley. If you're the worst team in the league, no offense, but if you're the worst team in the league and you're not scoring every game and you're conceding every game, does it matter if you have 2 games in the game week?
I mean, Luton have been scoring, mate. And
It's not
so have
scoring much.
Burnley too.
Not scoring much, and I mean they don't have a standout asset except maybe Lyle Foster, who apparently is good suddenly.
Yeah, he's okay. So let's give some background, right? These are just names, right? So Lyle Foster, 5 million Burnley forward, who a lot of people didn't know would be starting the season because he came in last season and didn't really bed in very quickly. But this season has gotten off to a decent start, scored 2 goals, scored an international break for South Africa, but it's still it's something, and he's 5 mil. So he is cheap enough that even if you've wildcarded already, you get him in for the double, you bench him, you never think about him again. You're just playing a 5 mil less. So I don't think that's such a bad idea. Carlton Morris is the popular one, and while I'm not going to captain him, I do like him as a pick because he's guaranteed 90 minutes. He's Luton's talisman. He's on pens. He's already scored a pen this season. He would have had a double-digit haul against West Ham if a handball against James Ward-Prowse was actually called, but because referees are stupid, they don't. Because he got an assist as well. So I think reasonable chance. And I think the Luton double is way better than the Burnley double, right? Luton play Everton and Burnley.
Yeah.
So I
I
feel
think an attacking punt, yes. Defensive punt, midfield, I don't see
midfield,
it.
no way,
That's
because
0.
I mean, there are no midfielders from these teams that you want, and we all have 5 better midfielders. So
Yeah.
I don't think you touch the midfield to save your life. And no one's getting Ross Barkley or Tai Chong or. It's nice that they're there, but nobody's going there. I think defense is actually for people like me who maybe have spent too much money. Like I think that may be a good way to exit from, say, somebody like Chilwell. I don't really want to spend 5.6 million on Chilwell anymore. I can downgrade him to like a 4 mil like Bell or Kabore or one of these dudes and then just bench him forever. So I think defense actually might be worthwhile in terms of like an exit plan because you're assuming minimum 4 points if you're lucky. Might be higher if you get really lucky.
Might be lower if you're unlucky. 1 point,
Maybe,
1
but
point, 2
but
points.
long term, especially for those who have already wildcarded like me, I think it's a good way to sort of filter out some cash if you think you've overspent in certain areas. If you have not wildcarded, you got nothing to lose. You can wildcard in 9, Game Week 9, you get rid of these guys. So
True, true.
I think at least having two players from these teams is a fair enough thing to do. I don't think you need it, but I don't think two is too much.
Yeah, I guess if you're looking to rebalance the funds, like you said, there's no better time to do it than when your enablers have a double game week, right?
Yeah.
So it's just really convenient, I guess.
That being said, I did think about it, and I don't really want to bring in any of these guys now because, I
Yeah,
mean,
not now, right? Like,
no,
why
because
would you do
Luton
it
have a
now?
decent run. They play Fulham this week and then Wolves next week. But
Opponents have
because,
decent runs when they play Luton, right?
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Luton's a good fixture here, not the other side. So yeah, not a transfer I want to make. And also, I really don't want to bring in, say, Carlton Morris this week. He gets injured by 7, and then I'm stuck with him.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it is a transfer that I will make as late as possible. I think that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, on game week 7, I guess.
Yeah, like when you know there's really no danger and you're actually getting there. What do you think about a? You're not going to like this. A Luton keeper for the double.
Why?
For people, unlike you, for people who have Jordan Pickford and are tired and sad and cold and hungry and just want to get rid, Luton 4.5 keeper, what could go wrong?
A lot could go wrong, like the fact that what's the points difference between a Luton keeper and Jordan Pickford?
I mean, it can't be that big, to be fair. 12 to 6 maybe, or at most.
Yeah, it's just for 1 week, and then after that you're stuck with a freaking Luton keeper. Man, come on. If you're moving out Pickford, move to a proper keeper. All right.
Okay, but if you're wildcarding in Game Week 9, you'd be more open to the idea because you're getting out anyway.
No, even then, even then, even then, I'd rather pick a keeper with a good fixture.
Okay, it feels like you're just going to ignore this double completely.
Yeah, pretty much. I think unless, like you said, I didn't consider that, Siva, but like you said, if you're rebalancing funds, there's no better time to get an enabler than in game week 7. So
Yeah, I mean, I look at these Chelsea guys and I think, yeah, I don't need them, and they're using up a lot of cash. I think this is not a bad idea. Even Carlton Morris at 5.5 million. Okay, so you play 1 million less if you bench him and never play him again. He'll always be a decent bench
it's
option because he will
5.5.
play.
Oh, that's kind of expensive for a bench option.
Okay, then you go
You
Lyle
might as
Foster.
well go Cameron Archer for 4.5. Yes, he has only one fixture, but you save a whole 1 mil.
But we're not strapped for cash, are we? I mean, you could get Lyle
Exactly. So
Foster
then,
for 5.
so then, why do you need to get Lyle Foster if you're not strapped for cash, Siva?
I'm trying to balance these narratives. You're not helping. Okay, never mind. You're not sold, but we'll revisit this in Game Week 7. Let's see how. I feel like you will come around.
Hmm.
You were with me on Emmanuel Dennis a few years ago, right? You
Oh,
would have been with me
don't
on
don't bring up that
Weghorst, I'm
name.
sure. Okay, like we do these. Like the people with double game weeks, you just can't resist. You go in. I don't think we're going to captaincy like that. That I'm not sold on that. Haaland plays Wolves. Haaland could score a hat trick in his sleep, but I still want just a slice of the action, man.
Okay, yeah, we'll see, we'll see. If the team improves from now to game week 7, then yeah, I think we'll be much hotter on them.
Yeah, I mean, the Luton have just signed Sambi Lokonga. He's a world class
Oh,
midfielder. Yeah,
yeah,
on
yeah,
loan,
yeah.
and maybe
Okay.
Barkley becomes better. Okay, let's talk wildcards. Okay, so I just threw up a wildcard draft like without thinking too much about it, just for people who are wildcarding. Obviously, I got a bit excited. And I have triple Luton, so you'll you'll, you'll hate that. But they're all benched. Okay, in my defense, they're all benched. Okay, so I was considering that. All right, so let me just read out the team.
Gabriel. Okay,
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 let me
yeah.
read
Go
out
ahead,
the
go ahead,
team.
Siva.
Then
Go
you
ahead.
you pick it apart, right? Okay, so this is pre Matt Turner pregnancy slash
Mm.
Vlachodimos news. Okay, so swap him out with a different keeper. But I looked at Turner and Kaminsky, Ruben Diaz, Destiny Udogi, Gabriel. I'll come to Gabriel. Saka, Madison, Mbomo, Rashford, Son, Awoniyi, Haaland, and then on the bench, like I said, Kaminsky, Morris, Anderson, but it could be Bell, Kabore. Pick a 4 million defender. I think Bell is the safest, but boring. And Botman, 4.5, Newcastle. Apparently, will start keeping clean sheets according to everybody else. Okay, so that's sort of if you're wildcarding this week, Sam, keepers. Pick your two keepers.
Flecken, who is my keeper.
Yeah, Flecken
I
and
mean, okay,
Areola, I
I
guess.
have to say, yeah, Flecken area. This year, 4.5 is kind of dreadful. There's basically no one, right? Sanchez, is Sanchez still 4.5? He is, right?
Leno, mate. Leno. You're missing out.
Leno has been the same since last year. No clean sheets, but a lot of saves. I still feel Flecken is the best, and I think he has proven himself to be the best 4.5 option.
He's gotten a bonus point already, which is pretty decent. I just feel like I don't know about Flecken because I feel like you want Wissa and Mbomo and you might want Rico Henry. So do you really want to use your... But I mean, triple Brentford is probably not the top most of your priority. So I think in that sense, it's fair.
Yeah. I do like Leno. I think Leno's probably the second best. But we'll have to see, you know.
I think if I was wildcarding today, I'd just gamble on having a Luton keeper just for the heck of it, man. I think just for that 1 week. But that's me, personal preference. I wouldn't go for the Burnley keeper because, as we discussed, a lot of people want him dropped. So for what it's worth, like I wouldn't go near Trafford.
I think actually Areola might be the best value keeper in the entire game. Even if he was 4.5, you know. I think he's really good. He finally got his chance. And I really think West Ham will do a lot better than they did last year. Last year they were just in shambles, right? Because Naif Aguet was injured almost the entire season. A lot of people talk about Rice leaving, but I think they've been pretty okay without him.
Edson Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, I really like the signings. They was 2 minutes away from a clean sheet. I have Areola, and I was crying against Luton. So yeah, I think 4.1 mil. You can't ask for much more than that. I think Areola's finally claimed that spot.
It's just that he has terrible fixtures now. Next two games is City and Liverpool. But after that, yeah, Areola probably the best keeper in the game.
Yeah, that's why I have Leno, because he rotates well. But yeah, it's just those two fixtures. You get past that, you're fine. That's enough for keepers, right? Let's talk defense. Okay, so I still have Diaz. I have Diaz in my actual team, but I will concede to you, it feels like a lot for 6 pointers. And once again, City have managed to find new ways to concede the random goal. I guess you're not convinced by Diaz or any City defender.
Yeah, I just feel Diaz is just too expensive for what he offers. Zero attacking threat, occasional clean sheet maybe. Although City does look a bit more solid than last year. Still early days though. Still early days. But yeah. But then again, you know, there's no one else in the entire City team. And if you want someone from that run just to have coverage, then Diaz is your only option, I think.
Yeah, it's a really good run of fixtures. And I think now we know that Gvardiol's not nailed, so feels like you go with Diaz.
Gvardiol's not nailed, so Ake is not nailed. Akanji maybe is the second most nailed player in the team, but even then, once Champions League starts, we don't know what happens. So
Destiny Udogie, I think no-brainer, right? Everybody has him. Okay, let's talk about this Newcastle defender. Let's park Gabriel, because I think Gabriel's a controversial choice, and I'm sure not many people will go for it. But let's talk about Newcastle defense. Everybody is hyping Trippier, and I don't get it because he's old, he is expensive, he has lost some of his free kicks to Tonali. Newcastle have good fixtures, but then also play Milan and PSG in the next 3 weeks, and they have signed Livramento for 30 million. So I mean, all of these factors, and they've kept something like 2 clean sheets in 15 games. So you add all of this. I don't get where this Trippier hype is coming. At least Botman, he's cheap. I can get that. He's 1.5, but I don't get Trippier hype at all.
Same, exactly the same, Siva. And for the exact same reasons that you have listed, just too expensive for too much uncertainty, and we don't know. Now, Trippier definitely can't play. Okay, maybe I shouldn't use the word definitely. Maybe he is secretly some physical freak who can play midweek and Premier League games, at his age. But chances are, I feel I see a rest here and there for Trippier. So, go for me. Not for the most expensive, not second most expensive defender in the game.
Yeah, I mean, either he gets rested against the likes of Burnley and Sheffield and plays Milan PSG, or he doesn't get rested and then he's tired as heck anyway, or he gets subbed early, and everybody likes early subs for defenders. But there's a fine line between subbing on 61 mins and subbing on 59 mins. And, and managers aren't playing FPL, so it doesn't really add up. So I just think, and they can't possibly have signed Livramento to never play him. That seems to be
Yeah.
some people are trying to argue that. So and the same thing goes for Dan Burn. Dan Burn's competing with Lewis Hall and Matt Target. So again, I don't really want. So your best option is maybe Shah or Botman. Botman's fine at 4.5, but that is as far as I'm willing to go because
Is
Shah's really
Bowman
expensive.
is Bowman not injured anymore? I don't
Flagged,
know.
but should be back for the next one, is the general
Ah,
consensus.
that says my defense then this week.
I don't know
I
if he's
don't
back for
need.
Brentford, but
Um,
he should be back soon.
I don't have enough playing players in my defense. Anyway, that's my team. No one cares about my team.
Okay. But Newcastle defense, okay, not priority. That's good to know.
Not not for any Newcastle player. I feel there's just too much uncertainty with all these teams who never been in the Champions League for ages. You don't know how they're gonna play, how they're gonna rotate once they do go in.
Yeah, but the fact that they bought a bunch of players would put me off. And the fact that they have so many hard fixtures would just put me off. I just think they're going to be tired, man. Like, they're going to struggle to deal with it. And yeah, it just doesn't feel an urgent investment. So what defenders do you go for then, Sam, on Wildcard? Like, you've got a lot of defensive issues. Who do you even go for?
Would you still go for a Villa defender?
I have cash
Because
in my team.
you have cash, right? So
I do.
I
But I'm
you
uncertain
people who
about
have
his
cash in
prospects.
Game Week 3 very happy, and then it's like in between two scores, he has two -1s. What's up with that, man?
Which I have managed to dodge by benching him, but I'm really scared. And also now Alex Moreno is coming back. It feels like you're maybe 1 week too early in making a decision on which Villa defender to go for. Because if Moreno once fit, I imagine he
Moreno plays
starts.
in Dean's left on the left.
Yeah,
Cash
but
is on the right.
I fear Cash may start getting benched for Conser, and they may play a bit more defensive on one flank and more attacking on the other. Because that's what they were doing in preseason. Again, so this is probably not the week to make a transfer in that department.
Okay, I'm happy with my Anderson pick. It turned out well, although I did bench him for his points this week.
Joachim Anderson. Yes.
Yeah.
Palace. Fair enough. Yeah.
I know, sorry, there's
Solid.
a lot of Andersons right in the league.
That's
So
1,001 Anderson's pick. But yes, solid pick. And I
yeah,
think
Crystal Palace,
Estupiñán,
decent. I think decent fixtures, decent chance of clean sheets. You can probably play him and just kind of close your eyes and let him be.
good BPS. Like Joachim
Good
Anderson.
BPS.
Really good BPS.
Yeah, and then he even scored a goal, like which never ever happens, but he did last week.
And I still think Pervis Estupiñán is solid. Like attacking return potential in any week he plays, still really attacking. The fixtures are bad for now, but Game Week 6, good fixture. And then by about Game Week 9, 10, it flips around again. So to me, he feels like somebody, if you needed to, you could hold the whole season. Still quite cheap.
Would you go for a Forest defender?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think issues with Forest defenders are not sure who starts. They've got Neco Williams and Serge Aurier on the right. They've got Tavares and Ola Aina on the left. So
I think
then,
Aurier is first choice, right? On the right.
yeah, but does he start every game, right?
I mean, I think so. I personally think so. You could also go for Bowley, who has been decent.
I don't know, man. We're really bully on FPL.
But yeah, overall, I think there are not many defenders to choose from. That is the
Yeah.
general consensus. There are not
Which
many
is
defenders to choose from.
why, if you've got dudes who play, like I feel like that is not a place to be making too many transfers. I don't feel like you gain a lot, which is why I ended up putting Gabriel in this draft because back in the team and cheap 4.8 Arsenal. I mean, could go for
True.
Saliba if you really feel like it.
Yeah, but he's cheaper and supposedly nailed now. Now
For
that the
that
transfer window has closed.
for that offside alone,
Coincidentally, nothing to do with transfer rumors or anything, according to Arteta.
I mean, for the offside alone on Garnacho, I think he has whatever he did wrong has been forgiven and matrix moves and all that. Okay, so I think let's talk midfield and attack. Okay, I think double Spurs mids. I mean, if you're wildcarding this week, you gotta have double Spurs mids, right? That's the whole point. I still have Rashford and Saka, but I'm guessing you're not as boring as me.
I'm okay with Rashford and Saka. I think no comments on the midfield. Maybe Bowen is a good long-term pick, but
not this week. Yeah,
week itself.
Yeah,
So
and Musa
I have
Diaby
on the bench.
Same. I got Bowen and I'm benching him. Musa Diaby also a really nice pick, but
Mm.
maybe not urgent. Like I still think you could wait a few more weeks.
Is Aston Villa in Europe? They are, right?
Yeah, Conference League.
So it concerns me with this kind of players. So Diaby has been coming off early almost every single game.
Yeah,
And so that means his fitness is not quite there yet. So once Europe games come, will he be just rested completely, come off from the bench, come off even earlier or something? I don't know. That's the uncertainty with this kind of teams.
yeah. I kind of want to wait until game week 9. I think by when they've played a few UCL games, then you can sort of get a better gauge. I think, and
Mhm.
which is why I still think Brian and Bomo. I picked a few people on my wildcard who I already had, and Brian and Bomo was one of them. And I thought he just seems like a really boring safe pick.
But you gotta
Pens
have
attacking
Mbemo.
team.
I don't have Mbemo, and I'm so pissed at myself for not getting Mbemo.
He's cooking, man. He scored even
Yeah,
in the break.
I
He's
know,
cooking.
I know, I know.
Let's talk strikers. Okay, so you're not sold on Carlton Morris. I won't try to sell you, but we talked about Awoniyi, so that's enough. And we don't need to talk about Haaland. Let's talk about Julian Alvarez, who I do
Mm.
have, and I'm very happy with.
Why is he
But
not
not
in your wildcard team? Oh,
this.
Champions League.
I
Champions League. Is it Champions League?
Yeah, but he's in my actual team, so this is probably me like overcompensating, like trying to be different. I mean, I have him in my real team, so clearly I like him. And some people trying to downplay Julian Alvarez by saying he got lucky. I've seen a lot of nonsense from City fans saying he's some of his returns are fortunate. I don't think they know what they're talking about. Um, I mean,
They
such a
think
good
they
option,
think
right?
every striker needs to dribble from the halfway line and stuff.
They're upset he's not KDB, basically, is what I can tell. Which I mean, who cares, right? He's better than Foden. He's actually getting returns
Yeah,
and playing
I I
way closer to the goal.
really I really like Julian Alvarez. I think if he continues his run of starts, he's a must-have to me. The
He has
problem
started
is,
every single game, mate. Like, what
yeah,
more
but
can he do?
Champions League hasn't started yet. So once Champions League start, will he still continue to start every single game? That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's young, he's fit, he's not got any injury track record per se. Like,
It's Pep, man. Come on, remember
I think Pep
the
likes him.
Pep rotation memes only starts when Champions League comes around. That's when anyone could be benched. Anyone.
He's
Granted, they do
played.
have an easy group. They do have an easy group,
They have
like
Red
the
Star
easiest
Belgrade.
possible group that you can get in
They
Champions League.
have Red Star Belgrade. We'll do a UCL podcast later, but they have Red Star Belgrade, Young Boys, and Leipzig, and they beat Leipzig every single season. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, they're
like
closing eyes
like
and getting
10
out
to
of this
1
group.
or something.
Yeah, 7-1 last year. So I mean, I think Julian Alvarez is perfectly fine. I know he's coming back from Bolivia and he needed the gas tank and all that altitude and all that stuff. But I mean, they play Nottingham Forest next week. Like, how can you not have him for that? Like, he's gonna do so well. So no, I think Alvarez. Everybody has Haaland. He's the only way you differentiate in this attack.
That's true. I would take Alvarez over Foden,
Mm.
definitely. And I do rate Alvarez a lot. I'm concerned about his minutes, but maybe not so much at the start because they're all kind of still fresh with not that many games in their legs yet this season. Perhaps in the latter stages of Champions League, that's when you see the real rotation. And I think the fact that City has a much thinner squad than they normally do maybe
Mm.
is an advantage to them. I mean, they don't have Cole Palmer anymore, so
Yeah, they've
yeah.
definitely not allowed themselves too many options for rotation. And ultimately, City is the best team in the league. No, let's not mess about here. So if there's one team you take the rotation risk with, you don't do it for the lower teams. You don't do it for the UCL teams, the UECL teams. You don't do it for the Liverpools. You do it for City. That's the best team in
Mhm.
the league. So
Plus, KDB is still out, and I think as long as KDB is out, Alvarez should
start most
asterisk,
weeks.
yeah,
Yeah.
should start.
Yeah, worth the risk, I think. Okay, let's
Mm.
let's let's wrap up with captaincy. Okay, let's check captaincy. Okay, so this is FPL reviews free planner because some people said we shouldn't use the premium data. So this is the free one. Okay, this is budget data. Okay, which everybody can access. Okay, that's me out of the way. Son and Haaland equal on predictor points this week. So let's talk real stuff
Mhm.
here, Sam. You're getting Son in this week, maybe. If you do, you're captaining him, right?
I would, yeah, I would, I would.
Okay, good. I need to catch up. So yeah, I'm glad.
I'm pretty sure I'm behind you, Siva,
I don't know. I
but
haven't checked rank, but still,
there
I mean,
there are very few opportunities this season to get a differential over Haaland, right? Because most fix everyone is gonna captain him.
And you think this
It,
is a week?
yeah, I do
Okay.
think this is a week because Haaland City is playing away to West Ham, who is a pretty strong team, especially this year. I'm not saying City won't win, but maybe not that many goals, right? Versus Spurs, who are playing against a newly promoted side. I think marginally you would think Son has a better chance of hauling. And you
Haaland
just gotta
scored
take
twice
these kind of chances.
against West Ham at the Olympic Stadium in his debut, right?
Yeah, but that was like ages ago, man. He's aged since then.
I will say
Like I
if I
said,
took off,
it's a risk every week to not captain Haaland because he's freaking 92% owned in the game. Out of what 10, we have 10 million players. It's
yeah,
insane. But that means there's literally zero to be gained. Having Haaland, a lot to be lost. Zero to be gained. So I mean, don't obviously if he's playing a weak team, like last week I was playing at home against Fulham, obviously you captain him, right? But a game like this where it's away against West Ham, I take that chance.
okay, it's a 50-50 call. I will grant you that. I don't think I'm brave enough, but then I don't have Son, so I don't have to think about this. But let's talk Madison, because I was listening to Net That Hall, and FPL Lens says he's going to captain Madison. Let's see. Would you
Wow.
captain Madison over Haaland?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't
Yeah,
because
neither would I.
I like Madison. Like I said, I feel he's
High floor.
less high floor, lower ceiling. Although this wasn't the case in previous seasons, In
Mm.
Leicester, he had a really high ceiling. Like on his day, he would score 2 goals, 1 goal assist, come with full bonus points, everything. However, this year it seems I think he'll tick along with the assists here and there, a goal here and there, which is great, but not necessarily a big haul. And I think just having Madison is really good enough.
Also, not on pens. Like, I feel Son
Mm.
probably gets pens, although his record is not great. Whereas Madison also has a bad record, and I think would be second choice for pens. And I kind of feel like you have to captain Pente because just the way the game works now, pens are so easily given.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fairly decent consensus there. I'm probably captaining Haaland. I'm boring, but uh, I can't captain Taiwo. As for those who want to just be spicy, like nah, it's just not gonna happen. I mean, captaincy is one thing you don't mess about with for me, and I think Son is a fair pick if you have him. I think that's
Yeah.
a gamble you can take. That's about it. Anything else then?
No, I think that's it. That's it.
Okay, very good. I think we covered everything. So we'll be back for Game Week 6, but in the meantime,
Is Andres Pereira the top? I don't know what's this top 8 highest predicted points this week?
free model. But I mean, he is playing Luton, so I assume the free model is by definition not as good as the premium one. So therefore, some of this is more vibes based. Like
Okay.
I
All
think.
right. Yeah.
I mean, let's put it this way. The reason why we're not looking at Andres Pereira is because it's a midfield slot. You're not going to take a midfield slot up with Andres Pereira, who doesn't even play 90 minutes. It's
That's true.
sad, though, because if Mitrovic existed still in this game, you would have him this week, but he doesn't. So it's what it is.
Okay. All right. That's it then. Get your green arrows.
And we'll see you next week.